Just kidding. God, I'm gonna have to set up a hardware meter. I hate that thing in XSplit, man. Apologies. I was muted. Redo my entire. Yeah, thank you. I just realized. Appreciate it though. So, EG.iNcontroL, of course, watching his own match. Apologies for being muted, guys. We're going to jump into this next match. As you can see right there, EG.iNcontroL against Machine. Going to be another PvZ. So, as we've seen from this matchup, it's a match that, I mean, these guys have practiced a lot, but I have spoken to Machine. I know that, well, like Idra, he said that it's a matchup that he doesn't feel that comfortable in. So, we'll see, though. He's practiced against EG.iNcontroL so many times that I know he's got a lot of experience against his style. So things that EG.iNcontroL really likes to do, like, you know, always dropping that pylon and cannon at the natural of Zergs, trying to hide pylons in the main whenever possible. These are the types of things that Machine should be practiced against and able to play against. Or, you know, able to spot out and scout and prevent. So we'll see if he's able to do that or not. I say that kind of in a one-sided way. Obviously, we're looking forward to, you know, like what types of crazy tricks this Machine's going to throw out as well. But that's just something that EG.iNcontroL is really known for, is, you know, really putting his opponent off guard. By trying to put them into positions that they're not as comfortable in. So we're just going to take a brief look at this message from our sponsors. We'll jump right into the game number 1 on an NASL Antigua Shipyard.
Listen up, StarCraft II players. If you're one of those competitive online gamers, Beyond Gaming has something awesome for you. Introducing BGLink. It's a small, light application that will let you join SC2 matches and tournaments on BeyondGaming.com without even opening a web browser. The best part is, while you have the application open, it will recognize when you start your official BG match against your opponent, record your StarCraft II match data and stats, and automatically report it to BG. No more filing disputes because your opponent rage quit and didn't report match results like on other sites. All you have to do is input your BNet name into the settings of the application and start joining matches. The best part is all this functionality is absolutely free. All you need to do is go to BeyondGaming.com, register a free account, and download the app now.
Alright, hello everyone and welcome back. Here it is, game number 1 in this best of 5 series between EG.iNcontroL in the 11 o'clock position as our red Protoss against his opponent in the 5 o'clock position, Machine, as our light pink Zerg, I believe. Sorry guys, I am colorblind. I'm not entirely sure if that's teal or light pink. I think it's light pink. Teal usually looks a little bit more bluish on the minimap. So, no big deal if it's wrong though. Just colors. The red against pink though. So, both these guys enjoying those reddish hues. We're going to see EG.iNcontroL going for that forward expand, of course. We'll see if he uses the Nexus wall off. No, he's going to use the ramp wall off. So, already a little bit of a stylistic difference you can see between him and Huck. And I like the ramp wall off because it does allow you to just really easily fully wall in case of any emergency early on. But, of course, there are advantages to having your wall a little bit further back as well. The control you can have over the ramp can just be a little bit more efficient. Well, what are we going to see Machine going for? Is he going to try to pull off the hatch first? We'll probably just see him pull first. I mean, you know, the probe's going to be there. In fact, EG.iNcontroL is scouting cross positions. So, I wonder if they thought it was always cross? I mean, it's not, but in this case, they end up being cross positions. So, whether he did or not, he's going to scout out cross, and he'll find Machine immediately. So that's going to pretty much prevent any chance of Machine getting up a hatch first, unless we were to see a mistake from EG.iNcontroL. So Machine going to respect his opponent, not going to do something like, you know, just send drones down and hope that he doesn't block it. Is going to throw out that pool. We'll probably see EG.iNcontroL continue to pylon block anyways around that like 2:35-minute mark, 2:40-minute mark when that hatchery is trying to go down. He does go force first though. So despite being, you know, having the ramp and despite it, you know, being cross positions, looks like he just wants to, you know, well, first off he wants to play it safe, but also, oh, and he actually might, no, okay, of course, Machine doesn't have the minerals, what am I saying? He sent down 2 drones, but he just wanted to get that pylon set up ahead of time. You know, force that to be put down earlier so he could start getting some damage onto it, but EG.iNcontroL wanted to get that forge up because not only does he want to play safe, but he always likes to set up that cannon. Like almost always when I watch him play PvZ, he'll set up the cannon at the natural, just to kind of put his opponent just a little bit behind, not necessarily like, it's not necessarily behind in the sense that, oh, now they're at a disadvantage in this game. It's more of, they put them into a position. It's kind of like when a Zerg 6 pools a Protoss that's forward expanding, and the Protoss has to just drop the cannon in the main and go back to one base. I mean, the Zerg is behind as well, so it's not necessarily that, you know, in that situation, the Protoss is that far behind. It's that you put them into a position that they're not as comfortable playing with because they don't have as much practice with. So that's essentially what he's doing here. But look at that, hatchery goes down to the third, and oh, InControL sees it coming. He's going to set up a cannon rush there as well, and unfortunately for Machine, he does not have an Overlord there, so he does not spot this cannon rush coming. And that cannon at the natural is going to be so useful because that's going to prevent these lings from just running out and dealing with this cannon. And that's definitely going to finish. This could cause some serious problems here from Machine. He might end up just having to cancel or just lose that third. Let's look at that time. The cannon will finish before it, so if he has the reaction times, he should be able to just cancel that if that's what he decides he wants to do. Just going to use the Queen to try to eat up some of the shots of the Photon Cannon and send his Lings out. The Queen a lot more durable than the Lings, of course. The Lings are really what are going to do the DPS, so you want to send out the Queen. Excellent control. Look at that. Getting the Queen out right before it's about to die. Just 2 more hits, of course. Very efficient way to take out that cannon, and look at that. He does force a cancel on the hatchery. Even takes out the drone with the probe. What a hero probe there. You know, I would love to see just wacky players do silly stuff, like just, yeah, like drop extra cannons here, just like drop a Nexus here. Just, like, why not, right? Just drop a Nexus and take this expansion like Sub-Zerg. But he's not going to do that. Not going to be that BM against his teammate. The problem is there's still no Nexus getting thrown on here from InControL. So if he had thrown on like the Forge, in fact, he might try to fake out his opponent. Oh my god. The problem is there's an Overlord here that can scout if there's a natural or not. But he might try to fake his opponent into thinking he Forge expanded, and then actually just go for some type of 1-base play here. Because to not drop your Nexus at this stage and even go core, second pylon, excuse me, core, third pylon, double gas, and the Zealot all before Nexus is so bizarre. So he is putting his probe there as if he's going to drop the Nexus, but it certainly seems like he's just trying to fake his opponent out and that he's not actually ever going to take that expansion. We'll see if he does or not, though. Gas is being taken from Machine, so he's not going to try to go ahead and take that 3-hatch no gas since there is a cannon there. Doesn't want to take that out just yet and have to make all those Lings. Just going to want to drone up, get that gas, play a more standard game for now. And there it is, yep. Stargate getting added on, so InControL will be staying on 1 base. Machine should realize this. Granted, his Overlord is not in range to see if there's a Nexus or not, but if he's paying attention to it, which is granted something that you don't always do in this situation, if he's paying attention to it, he should realize all of these mineral fields have 1,500 minerals, and there's no probes mining on them. So if you see gas in the main, and you see no expansion for the Protoss, you gotta be careful. Looks like InControL is actually gonna throw up the Nexus. So this isn't some type of all-in. It's just like a what is the word? Like a meta fake. He's trying to really throw his opponent off guard because in this situation, most Zergs try to go ahead and delay any type of defense against something like Void Ray play until they would expect that after the Forge expansion. All those times that you normally see, like there are very specific times that Zergs are preparing for when Void Rays are going to appear. So to drop the Stargate and then drop the Nexus, it's going to put InControL very behind economically, but if he can do damage with these Void Rays because Machine might be a little bit less prepared than normal, oh, it could just be fantastic. The problem is, look at that, another Queen has already been started here for Machine at the natural because he has that extra hatchery, of course. So he will have 3 Queens. Unfortunately, though, no Evo Chambers, so won't be able to set up those spores. Couple Zealots here from InControL trying to be a little bit aggressive. Nice job, pulls back to the cannon. Always, want to be as efficient as possible with those units. Don't want to just throw away Lings for nothing. So 1 Void Ray, and then he is going in additional Void Rays, not switching immediately over into Phoenixes. When you're on cross positions, it can be hard to make that decision because, Phoenixes are going to reinforce so much quicker across the map. Oh, look at that! Machine scouts the Void Ray on the way. It didn't bother to go for some of the Overlords, so he was kind of not necessarily banking on it not being scouted, but obviously didn't want it to be scouted that early. Wanted it to be, stay alive as long as possible, or stay hidden as long as possible. So Machine should be able to prepare now against this. His Evo Chamber is about a quarter of the way done. He's got a layer halfway done as well, so he can go start to get up to the Hydras later on if he feels the need. This Void Ray is charged up, though. It does get uncharged. 2 Queens here. It's going to be forced to fall back. These Zealots will help out. They can engage in with Zealots and Void Rays. But will it be enough? Because there are going to be quite a lot of Lings as well for Machine here. He does feel very confident, though. Still droning up. Roach Warren has been started, so he can help deal with those Zealots. And no additional units, so not actually deciding to build Phoenixes. Very, very strange. So looks like InControL, instead of trying to actually, be aggressive and use the Queens so he can, use the Phoenixes so he can lift up Queens, as well as get scouting information in the main. Instead, he's just going to use the Void Rays to hold map control. So this allows you to just make sure no Xenolog towers are being held by the Zerg. They have no... Oh god, you got to take out that Ling, though. You don't want them to have any information at all to see when you're moving out. You can also use it to deny creep spread if you're careful, but with Queens there, it can be pretty hard to pull off. This forward Pylon being set up means that all of a sudden, with all these gateways finishing InControL, is going to be warping it right at his opponent's base. There's no chance of, the Lings picking off the forward probe or something, but they might actually be able to pick off all these units here. An excellent surround. Picks off the Sentry, picks off the Zealot, loaded the cannon as well, and if he picks off that Pylon before these units start warping in, Hey, he's able to prevent that forward pylon. Two Wooders are in the main, though, picking off the Roach Warren. So this forward pylon's going to be taken out. There's no more units warped in, but there is a forward pylon over here that at least EG.iNcontroL can warp in over there. Will this Roach Warren be taken out? He's still target firing. Queens are coming over. He can transfuse. He has the energy. Nice. One transfuse goes off. A second transfuse goes off. And unfortunately, EG.iNcontroL is forced to fall back. Didn't do the damage he did there. And now a third is on the way from Machine. And when you really think about what EG.iNcontroL did with those Warders, he delayed his Nexus by quite a long time. And unfortunately wasn't able to do too much damage. Couldn't kill off the Queens. Couldn't quite kill that Roach Warren. What he did successfully do is delay the third. That's what's great, is that Machine's third is so much later from what you usually expect a Zerg third to be at. But he's really not playing like a standard style that he's used to. Most Zergs are so used to that 3-base macro. So what they have practiced quite a bit. And now Machine is, more in a tech and, get your economy set up part of his game, where he's going to have to make a lot of drones, get this third set up. He's trying to tech up very aggressively. And that just means that EG.iNcontroL has the opportunity and availability to be able to just take a third off a very small army. Like, look at how small his army is. To be able to take a third off that army is purely based on the utility he's given himself by delaying the third from Machine and from the map control he has based on these Void Rays. It's hard to be aggressive with lanes when there's Void Rays out. Obviously, you can just ignore the Void Rays. But to a certain extent, you're just going to be losing units inefficiently, so you do have to be careful about that. There's a couple of cannons going to get thrown up here from EG.iNcontroL. Looks like Machine wants to be aggressive, though. He's got quite a lot of roaches out here. Unfortunately, EG.iNcontroL was not like watching the outside of the base with like a Void Ray on patrol here or something. So he actually doesn't see this army moving out. He doesn't have the Sunlight Tower held either, so he doesn't see them moving around near the edge there. And now Roach is going to run up straight into the third. He could have blocked it with force fields, but unfortunately the sentry's not at the third. He didn't know where his opponent would be coming from, and that third will most definitely have to be canceled. There is no way he can defend that. Oh, Roach is getting through here. A couple passed up the force fields. They are escaping as well, so four force fields go down, but nice job keeping the sentries alive at least. That's what's really important here. But the Roaches are starting to surround on all sides. A bit of a scary situation here from EG.iNcontroL. He needs excellent force fields to be able to stay alive here. Great forces at the bottom of the ramp to stop the units from coming up. He's doing quite a little damage, but he's losing a lot of his sentries in the process. Those sentries are so valuable here. A nice force field blocking the choke point here. He's got to get another one, though. That Pylon's about to die. Roaches are going to try to stream up into the main. One more force field. There's the extra force field, but now he's starting to lose these sentries. He needed that just a couple seconds earlier. Losing all those sentries is so detrimental. He's starting to warp in Zealots and Stalkers. You can see how starved for gas he is right now. Can't afford to rebuild those sentries, but he has held off the attack. The Voiders have stopped the Roaches, so while EG.iNcontroL is still alive right now, you've got to remember that this is such a brutal location, or such a brutal position for him, because even though Machine didn't have a 3-base economy set up that whole time, he already had the third hatchery done. And as we all know, Zergs with their, with the larva mechanic, you can just make a million drones at once. Look at that one production cycle, and he has full saturation at this base. So it doesn't matter that he didn't have Roaches there that whole time, or excuse me, he didn't have drones there the whole time. He has now gotten all the drones he needed. And now he's going to be at a 3-base economy against the 2-base economy of EG.iNcontroL. You can see 73 drones against 54 probes. Machine is in an excellent position in this game. He's starting to really accelerate that creep spread. Look at all those creep tumors out here. Got some extra queens out here as well. We do see a Spire about to complete as well. He does have Infestors coming out, though, so I'm curious. Is he going to go... Well, he hasn't dropped down the Hive yet, so I was going to say, like, is he going to go ahead and just use the Spire to go up to either, like, Corruptors to help deal with the Void Rays and the possibility of a Colossi, or he's going to go ahead and just use it for Brood Lords, because he already has Infestors, so he's clearly not trying to save up all of his gas to just go for Mass Muta or something like that. Nice Fungals, though, just pick off these Void Rays. Nice, gets the last Fungal. I mean, that used a lot of Infestor energy, but taking out those Void Rays in the middle of the map is really important for map control. All of a sudden, now Machine has the free ability to take the Zanaga Tower, to watch for the expansions from EG.iNcontroL. So map control has now gone quite in favor of Machine. He's also got just individual units around Overlords, Zerglings. He's watching every corner of the map. He's got this Overlord over here as well. Checking out that Forge, so double Forge here from EG.iNcontroL. Unfortunately, upgrading from one of them right now. But look at that, he scouts for the third. He was planning on denying that third. You can see all the units he was rallying over. He was planning on really focusing his strategy around denying a third. Now that he sees there's no third, he's just going to be so happy. Oh, look at that, a Fungal and all the sentries. Forces don't get out in time. Oh, no! EG.iNcontrol's lost all of those sentries. He still has 2 left here, but the Infestor turns are being put down. These Roaches definitely want to fall back, though. That is 5 Immortals. I don't know if you guys know this, but Immortals are pretty darn good against against Roaches. But the Speedlings coming in, those reinforcements are going to be so helpful. The Zealots should be able to help take them out, though. 1-1 upgrades are done for EG.iNcontroL, whereas these Lings are only at 1-0. So those upgrades just really, really helping EG.iNcontroL stay alive here and pull through. He so desperately needs that third base, though. 8 mutas are on the way, and when you go for Zealot Immortal, ooh, that makes it so hard to deal with the impending Mutalisk attack. So an excellent decision by Machine to go for those mutas at that point. After he saw the Immortals from his opponent, I don't think he was going to do that until he really saw that his opponent really didn't have much at all. Excuse me, he does have much. Yeah, I totally missed that production tab. My mistake. But uh-oh, these Immortals are getting surrounded right now. Infested Terrans, well, some of them do a lot of damage. Unfortunately, some of them just kind of on stop command. These Immortals are taking quite a bit of damage, though. You really can't afford to lose those Immortals, because once they start getting surrounded by Zerglings, there's going to be no escape. The Muse's going to be able to pick off everything. And right now, I don't know what Control can do. We're looking at 50 probes to 71 drones. He still can't get a third, and there's actually a burrowed Ling there as well to block that. He's at 81 through to 157. It's starting to look like Machine has taken game 1 in this series. Muta still being aggressive in the main. I gotta love that decision. I really love, it's something you really don't see often, is a willingness in Zerg players to split up their Mutas. Usually they'll always have them in one clump because the splash damage building up is so important. And you have more and more Mutas to get, exponentially more and more effective. But to be able to split them up, just use a couple for harass, so the Protoss always has to leave a lot of anti-air at home, and then use the rest for defense against the Immortals. It's just a really effective way to play. We see EG.iNcontroL trying to put some pressure onto this third base, but there's just so many units here for Machine. 180 food to 88. Looks like you might just take out the rocks and go ahead and fall back. With no sentries here, mass Zergling is just such a scary concept when you have this type of an army. 2 more sentries are being warped in, so EG.iNcontroL not afraid to mix those back in, but the problem is he really has no gas. When you don't have a third, you've been on 2 bases this whole time, and your main's getting mined out, and you have to spend so much money on anti-air for those Mutas. To be able to mix in sentries and Immortals, it's just really hard to do effectively. So EG.iNcontroL just, kind of in too bad of a tight spot right now. We'll see if he can, get some stuff done with these Stalkers, but he doesn't even have Blink, so it's going to be extremely hard. The Zergling is doing quite a bit of damage as well. Unfortunately, Machine really doesn't have those high melee upgrades, but it doesn't matter. There's the GG, and Machine has taken game number 1 in this best of 5.